Welcome to Let Me Know How It Is, a podcast about all things geek. This is part 2 of our March Madness style tournament to crown the panel's favorite cartoon of all time. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, please go to our site and check that one out before you continue on with this episode. And however you find us, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Also, quick note, we recorded this via conferencing in, so that explains why it sounds a little different. And without further ado, here's part 2.
Starting off round 2, gentlemen, we have the first matchup, which is Batman the Animated Series versus Pinky and the Brain. Batman the Animated Series versus Pinky and the Brain. Zach, I haven't heard from you in a while. What is your choice?
Yeah, I love them both, but Batman the Animated Series.
Batman the Animated Series it is.
Yeah.
Clifton, what's your choice?
Batman the Animated Series, definitely, but I do love Pinky and the Brain.
I love Pinky and the Brain as well. I'm going with Batman the Animated Series, so that's 3-0. And Frank, what is your choice?
Easily Batman in the Animated Series. I love Pinky and the Brain, but Batman the Animated Series.
Clean sweep for Batman the Animated Series again. It's moving forward to
Brain's thwarted again.
Yep.
Next choice is going to be for round 2, Gravity Falls versus Samurai Jack. Gravity Falls versus Samurai Jack. Frank, what is your choice between Gravity Falls and Samurai Jack?
I'd have to go with Samurai Jack. I think Samurai Jack is as much as people love it, it got accolades while it's coming out. I still think it's just an unbelievably good, well put together piece of animation throughout the series. So I'd have to go with that.
Samurai Jack it is. Zach, what's your choice?
Oh, man. When you said that, you guys can't see me. When you said this, I doubled over, like in pain. This one hurts so much. Gravity Falls is so good, and I feel so bad for going the other way. But Samurai Jack, I think, is such a unique show above everything else on this list. So, Samurai Jack.
2 for Samurai Jack. None for Gravity Falls. Clifton, what's your choice?
I'm going with Gravity Falls.
I
gotta go with Dipper and Mabel and Grunkle Stan.
I have to go with Samurai Jack. More content. They even brought it back for the dead. So that's 3-1 Samurai Jack over Gravity Falls. Samurai Jack advances. Next up, we have Steven Universe or Batman the Brave and the Bold. Steven Universe or Batman Brave and the Bold. You know what? I'll start with Clifton. Clifton, what's your choice between the two?
Steven Universe. I like Brave and the Bold. I voted for it before, but I just love the heart in Steven Universe.
Zach, what's your feelings on the matter? What are you voting for?
This is another tough one because interesting that these are going up against each other. These are both shows that, I wasn't ready for and really surprised me, both of them. But I'm a Batman mark, so I got to go with Batman. I love Steven Universe.
1 for Steve, 1 for Batman. I'm going to interject and say Steve Universe for me. So that's 2 for Steve Universe, 1 for Batman. Frank, what's your decision on the matter?
Well, again, I have not seen 1 second of Steven Universe. And I love Batman the Brave and the Bold so much. It was a show that when I first saw the first images, I was like, there's no way this is going to be any good. And then it totally blew me away from the fact that it's basically such a good spectrum of Batman stuff. So I have to go with Brave and the Bold.
Wow, another tiebreaker. I kind of don't want to give to my engineer because I effing love Steven Universe. It currently is going through their final episode for the series. Our engineer, will you please break this tie, sir?
I think it is going to be Steven Universe.
Wow.
Wow.
Shocked by this outcome.
Wow.
I think it's the Tiger Millionaire episode. That's what won him over.
Oh, wow. Steven Universe has advanced to round 3. I am blown away. Steven Universe has beat the Batman. Wow. Next up, we have Superman, the animated series versus Transformers, the original version. The animated series versus Transformers. Yeah, I haven't started off the voting process, so I started off. And this is so hard for me. But I love Superman, the animated series. just because of World's Finest. Best
Mm.
3-part cartoon I have ever seen. I watch that now to this day. Zach, what's your choice?
I love Transformers. This is an easy one though. I mean, Superman the animated series is a very important show for me. And weird because I know it's a Bruce Timm cartoon, and I know that everything is so like beloved that he did, but this one doesn't get talked about enough, I think. So, Superman's fantastic.
2 for Superman. Frank, what's your choice?
Wow. It's really the 13-year-old, the kid in me is very upset at this point because he's going to be disappointed that I didn't choose Transformers. Superman the animated series is way up there for me. I have to go with that one.
3 for Superman the animated series over a blank Transformers. Clifton, what's your take on this?
I'm going with Generation 1 Transformers.
See a trend with Clifton, but still, Superman the animated series advancing. Next up, we have Young Justice versus Archer for round 2.
Oh.
Young Justice versus Archer. Zach, what's your vote?
This is easy. I adore Young Justice.
Frank, you?
For me, it's Young Justice. I enjoyed Archer for up until the point that last couple seasons I have not watched Archer, so I would definitely go with Young Justice.
Clifton, how about you?
Definitely Young Justice as well. I love all those characters.
And I'm gonna vote for Archer just because it was on my list. 3-1, Young Justice over Archer. 3-1, Young Justice over Archer. Next up, we have Spider-Man and his amazing friends versus G.I. Joe.
Ooh.
Frank, are you dribbling over there? So we'll start with you. Frank, who do you
God.
prefer? Spider-Man and his amazing friends or G.I. Joe?
Jeez. Again, this is like the really tough one for me because they're both on my list. They're both ranked pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I mean, G.I. Joe, I didn't realize at the time was selling me stuff all the time. was trying to take money out of my pocket, or my parents' pocket, I should say, at that point. But I love G.I. Joe. I love Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. Damn. Spider-Man's Amazing Friends.
I'm gonna go next. I prefer Spider-Man Amazing Friends as much as I watch G.I. Joe. Spider-Man's Amazing Friends because that was my introduction to comic books. Clifton, what's your decision?
It's a tough call, but Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
Wow.
Started my love affair with comics, and it's lasted longer.
Zach, what's your choice?
Yojo.
Spider-Man Amazing Friends, 1 for G.I. Joe. And for round 2, we have Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends winning over G.I. Joe 3-1. Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends has made it into the glorious Sweet 16 of round 3. Next up now, guys, we have round 2, Spectacular Spider-Man versus the original Johnny Quest. Spectacular Spider-Man versus the original Johnny Quest.
Wow.
I'm going to ask Zach, what's his vote going to be towards?
Oh, why am I first? This one
Get it out
hurts
the
so
way.
bad. Oh.
Get it out the way, sir. Get it out the way.
I love you, Johnny Quest, but I think Spectacular Spider-Man is so perfect. So, Spider-Man.
Clifton, what's your vote?
I'm going to go with Spectacular Spider-Man as well.
2 for Spectacular Spider-Man. My vote's going to Spectacular Spider-Man as well. Love Johnny Quest. Love what it started. Love how it looked. But love Spectacular Spider-Man even more. Frank?
Spectacular Spider-Man. I love Johnny Quest, but no, Spectacular Spider-Man.
Clean sweep for the wet splinger. Next up, the real Ghostbusters or Star Wars Clone Wars, Gendy's version. I'll start with myself. To be honest, Gendy Clone Wars. That definitely, I think is the better cartoon of the two. Clifton, what's your view on it?
Yeah, I got to go with Clone Wars. I just liked the story they chose to tell between those two prequel movies.
Zach, what's your choice?
I'm going to go Star Wars also. I love the action in Clone Wars. I love it.
And Frank?
Like I said, with as I revealed before, and shook the foundation of Zach's world. I am still seeing a lot of Gendy's Clone Wars. So I'm gonna have to go real Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters loses this round. We have Clone Wars
Yeah.
3-1 over Ghostbusters. Next, we have Justice League or Justice League Unlimited versus Doug. Justice League Unlimited
Ooh, that's a
versus
matchup.
Doug. Clifton, what is your vote line with?
I think Justice League Unlimited would win that matchup. So we're going Justice League Unlimited.
Zach?
The most powerful superheroes in the world against an 11-year-old boy
In khaki shorts.
in
That wanted
khaki
to be-
shorts and a sweater
wanted to
vest who hung out at the Honker Burger.
Yes. I wanted to
You
be
know what?
Calvin.
I'm going to be contrarian on this one. Yeah, I'll die on this hill. Doug.
Frank, what's your viewpoint on this?
It's pretty easy. Doug never should have advanced, so I'm gonna go with Justice League Unlimited.
Oh,
It's pretty simple. Doug should not have been in this round at all anyway. But
It was a Cinderella story.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh,
Well,
It was.
it's time. Doug's time is over. Justice League Unlimited.
Yes. And I'm going to chime in and say Justice League Unlimited won 3-1 over Doug. Justice League Unlimited advances. Next up, Legend of Korra versus Challenge of the Super Friends. Legend of Korra versus Challenge of the Super Friends. And Frank, since you chimed in last, I'm going to start with you.
Again, I never finished Korra. That's Nickelodeon's fault. I wasn't gonna go online or go to another site to try and find where it was to finish it. So for me, like I said, Challenge of Super Friends, while not sacred cow for some of us, is a sacred cow for me. So I'm gonna go with Challenge of Super Friends.
Clifton, what's your view? What's your vote?
I'm going with Korra. Like I grew up on Super Friends, but like I just love Legend of Korra, the whole Avatar world, everything.
Okay. Zach?
I'm going with Cora also. Great show.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Challenge of the Super Friends just because we still get images of Legion of Doom and the Hall of Justice, which started off from Challenge of the Super Friends. Those images of the Hall of Justice is
To this
directly
day.
to this day. And same with the Legion of Doom and their swamp-like headquarters. So the
Mhm.
tiebreaker goes to Engineer.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, Super Friends wins.
Yes.
And as a direct result, Lesnar Kerr has lost. Challenge of the Super
Yes.
Friends advances to round 3. Next up, we have Venture Brothers or the Boondocks.
Ooh.
Venture Brothers or the Boondocks. I'm gonna start this voting. I'm gonna go with the Boondocks. I love Venture Brothers. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's a great story. But I never thought I'd get Aaron McGruder's vision of the Boondocks ever from the comic strip to this. So I'm just going with Boondocks. Clifton, what's your view?
They're two cartoons that just came out slowly.
Yeah,
They're still-
when they
and they're
wanted
still-
to, yeah.
They're still maybe coming out.
Yeah.
But I got to go Venture Brothers. I love Venture Brothers so much, so it's always going to be Venture Brothers.
Zach, what's your decision?
I love Boondocks, but I got to go with Venture Brothers on this one. I mean, Venture Brothers just keeps getting better and better. I think.
2-1. Okay. Frank?
Oh, this is easy. Venture Brothers. I enjoy the Boondocks. Certain episodes are fantastic, but to me, Venture Brothers is. I love it. Love that show.
Venture Brothers advances 3-1 over Boondocks. Next up, we have Gargoyles or X-Men Evolution. Which do you think is the better show? And starting off this vote is going to be Clifton. Clifton, which do you think is the better of the two? Gargoyles or X-Men Evolution?
Oh man, this is a hard one because I do love both of these shows a lot. But I got to go with Gargoyles on this one.
Gargoyles it is. Zach, what's your decision?
I got to go with Gargoyles ultimately. I think both are great shows, but I got to go with Gargoyles as the superior original idea that came out of nowhere. So,
2
Gargoyles.
for Gargoyles. Great. 2 for Gargoyles. None for X-Men Evolution. Frank.
Gargoyles. That's an easy one. It's an easy choice.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to make it a clean sweep. 4 for Gargoyles. Gargoyles advances to the next round. Next up, we have Rick and Morty or Voltron, the Legendary Defender. Rick and Morty or Voltron, the Legendary Defender. Zach to cast our first vote.
Voltron.
Voltron it is.
It's so good. It's so good.
Voltron it is. Okay, Frank.
I enjoyed Voltron. I thought it was very good, but it's no Rick and Morty, so I'm gonna go with Rick and Morty.
If I'm gonna have to vote, it's gonna be Rick and Morty. I love Voltron, but it's not an original idea because it pulled from a original series. But Rick and Morty, even though it pulls from a distorted Back to the Future, it's still crazy fun. Rick and Morty is my vote for me. So it's 2 Rick and Morty, 1 Voltron. Clifton, can you add in?
It's going to be Legendary Defenders. I just love the new Voltron. Like, I love the animation. I love everything about it. The soundtrack, the score, all of it.
Okay. And the tiebreaker, our engineer, who do you think is the better show? Rick and Morty or Voltron, the Legendary Defender?
Voltron, Legendary Defender of the Universe.
What an amazing upset. People
Wow.
will probably stop listening to our show as a result of this one. Wow. I think we
Jeez.
lost a lot of viewership on this one.
Hmm.
Voltron advances over Rick and Morty. The show that made us eat outdated sauce of McDonald's gets cast aside for Voltron. Wow. Next up, Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. or Thundercats? Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. or Thundercats? Opening salvo to Zach. Zach, what's your first choice?
This is no contest. This is Scooby-Doo all the way. Mystery Incorporated is such an underrated show for everybody who hasn't seen it. I'm telling you, it's great. I'm a commercial for this show.
Frank, what's your choice?
I'm gonna go with Thundercats.
Okay, 1 for Scooby-Doo, 1 for Thundercats. I'm gonna have to pick between the two. I have to pick Mystery Inc. You couldn't do that show on the humble. It had to be meticulously planned out in order to make it as good as it was. Clifton, what's your choice?
I'm a Scooby-Doo mark, so it's got to be Mystery Incorporated. I love that show.
Mystery Incorporated advances forward over Thundercats. Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. Please check it out if you haven't seen it. Great show. Next up, this is going to be a hard one. You guys ready?
Yes.
This one, I'm not even going to put the timer on it because you're going to really think about it. We have Avatar, The Last Airbender, or The Dragon Prince.
Oh,
Created by many of the same people.
Yes.
Yeah, it's almost the same voices as well. Clifton, since you chimed in, please, by all means, what's your first vote?
I gotta go, I guess, with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It did so much great stuff first. Dragon Prince is fantastic. It's carrying on that legacy so well.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta go with Airbender.
I'm gonna cast a second vote. I'm going to say Airbender, just because it's finished. Dragon Prince is still being written, so if it leads into even greater ground than Airbender, remains to be seen. But my pick has to be Avatar. Frank?
I think I'm gonna go with the same thing that you said, Tommy. It's the fact that Avatar is finished and it's so good, top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not really a bad episode in it. There's not really one that you go, wow, they really phoned it in on that one. It's phenomenal start to finish. Dragon Prince is great so far. I hope it finishes as strong as it's been, but I'm gonna go with Avatar.
Okay, and Zach, would you finish our voting?
yeah. Like I said, I think Dragon Prince is a modern classic, but or I think it's going to be a modern classic in the making. But I know Avatar is a modern classic already,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just this show is just so rich and so well done, and I mean it spawned a whole universe that I don't think that they're anywhere near done mining. I there's any number of shows that can still come out of Avatar. I think so. I go with Avatar.
Okay, clean sweep for Avatar. Next up, and the last of the round 2 choices. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Really.
We have Batman Beyond or King of the Hill. Batman Beyond or King of the Hill. Frank, I heard you growing a bit. I'm going to start with you. Which do you think is the better choice and which we cast your vote for?
This is a tough one for me. I grew up in South Texas, and there was so much about King of the Hill that they got right. I love that show. I love the characters, love the voices. Batman Beyond to me was one of those shows. Again, I thought they would never ever be pull off. Like Batman in the Future, it sounds like a dumb idea, but again, I love that one too. Oh, I would say I'm probably going to lean towards King of the Hill.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
King of the Hill. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Zach, what is your choice?
Batman Beyond. I agree
Okay.
with Frank. I mean, it was another one I didn't think they could have pulled it off. It sounded ridiculous. But yeah, Batman Beyond. Surprised us all. It's great.
Clifton?
It's going to be Batman Beyond as
Oh, wow.
well. I was skeptical like the others at the beginning when I first heard the pitch, but like I just love what they did with it.
Okay. Well, it seems that I have the inevitable task of casting last vote for these two great shows, but I'm going to have to go with King of the Hill.
Oh,
King of the Hill is wholly and solely something that we'll never get again. Two of the cast
No.
members have already passed, so we'll never be able to get a true reboot in the sense of the characters coming back, because they made great characters of those voice actors. And with Batman, I kind of feel it was an extension of Justice League Unlimited and the animated series in a weird sense of the way. So it was like them extending those great shows like 3 seasons longer, if that makes any
Yes.
sense. But for this tiebreaker, we're going to have to go to our engineer. Sir, what is your decision? Who do you enjoy better? Batman Beyond or King of the Hill?
Once again, King of the Hill.
oh, the
Oh my
upset.
God.
Another amazing upset has just been pulled.
Wow.
King of the Hill has advanced to the Sweet 16.
Wow, King of the Hill.
Yes.
I tell you what.
Yeah. Listen. Now, gentlemen, we are in our third round, the Sweet 16, in which we've made even harder choices to make in this upcoming choice. First up, for round 3, we have Batman the Animated Series versus Samurai Jack.
Oh, God.
That is a knife in Zach's heart.
Oh, God.
Yes, it is. And I'll
Let's
agonize
just,
over
let's
him,
just stop.
and I'll make him
Let's just stop right now.
make him the last vote so he can see one of his choices slowly die. I'm going to pick Batman the Animated Series for very specific reasons. I like Batman. 2 great action series. I just like Batman. Clifton, what's your decision?
It's going to be Batman the Animated Series too. It launched like the whole era of sophisticated action adventure cartoons, and so I gotta go with that one.
Frank, what's your choice?
For me, it's again. I understand the importance of Samurai Jack. I said I don't think it's one of the things where we're going to get a show like that for a while. That's pretty much played straight. Every now and then there are funny episodes or funny bits, but as far as like a straight ahead adventure show, we're not going to get something like that for a while. But for Batman the Animated Series, I mean, it's very telling that Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill to this day are still thought of as the voices for Batman and the Joker. So my vote is Batman the Animated Series.
Zach? We already made your decision for you. That helps, Eddie.
My hair's going gray over here. Oh, my God. This is so hard. I mean, both of these shows inspire me so creatively. Both of these shows, I think, are fascinating in the sense that they're both kind of mini movies always. I love that they're both episodic. Oh, God. But as I bite my lip, because it doesn't want to get it out, I go with Batman.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Interesting fact is that Gendy Tartakovsky was originally hired to work on Batman the Animated Series, and then he had to leave the project before he really did anything on it. And that's like, if we ever get time machines and we can travel to alternate worlds, alternate universes, right. That's the one I want to go to. The one where Gendy Tartakovsky worked on Batman the Animated Series.
Wow, that'd have been amazing.
Yeah.
Next up for Sweet 16, we have Steven Universe versus Superman the Animated Series. Steven Universe versus Superman the Animated Series. And I'm going to start with Clifton. Clifton, what is your vote between the two series?
I mean, I'm a big Superman fan, but still, I got to go with Steven Universe. It was
Wow.
something that we hadn't seen anything quite like it before. Like with the music and the heart and the characters. I love the animation style from some of the original people. Like Kevin Dart was one of the art directors on it early on. Love his stuff, so I got to go with Steven Universe.
Okay. Me also. I think we'll never get a cartoon like Steven Universe. We will always get a Superman cartoon. We will always get a Superman cartoon. So my vote is cast for Steven Universe. Frank?
Again, I know that Steven Universe is a thing that exists. It doesn't really mean to me what it means to you guys, so I'm gonna go with Superman.
And Zach?
Steven Universe is a great show, and I love that it's out there. I adore that too, but I don't think that Superman is necessarily a slam dunk always, and I go for this one because I think it's such a perfect adaptation of the character, and he's a hard character to get right sometimes. So I go with Superman.
And a tie. Tiebreaker. Sir, what is your decision in this matter?
I think I have to go with Superman.
Oh! Superman the Animated Series has advanced forward into the next round. Bye-bye, Steven.
That was a tough one.
It was a tough one. Next up in our Sweet 16 round, Young Justice versus Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Young Justice or Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Zach, what's your view on this? What's your vote?
This is easy for me. This is Young Justice. I've really maybe only seen one episode of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and I think I had food poisoning. I was watching it, so I was kind of like in a fever. Like I don't think I paid attention to a second of it. This is Young Justice.
That might have just been the show.
Yeah.
All right. It's true.
It was a little trippy sometimes.
Yes. One vote for Young Justice. Clifton, what's your vote?
It's not an easy one for me.
No.
I mean, Spider-Man's Amazing Friends started my love affair with superheroes, but like Young Justice kind of takes it to the next level, so I'm going to say Young Justice.
Okay. 2 for Young Justice. Frank, what's your vote?
Well, again, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was on my list. I used to watch it religiously on Saturday mornings. Look forward to it. Like I said before, it gave us Firestar. As much as I love it, it is dated. It doesn't really hold up now.
No, that's
So I mean, Young Justice does so much so well. So I'm going to go with Young Justice.
And thank you. We have a clean sweep for Young Justice. I vote for Young Justice as well. 4-0 over Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Sorry, Firestar.
Angelica Jinx. Jinx again.
Yes.
Next up, we have Spectacular Spider-Man or Star Wars Clone Wars, the Gendy version. Spectacular Spider-Man or Clone Wars, Gendy's version of it.
How many
Frank, you want to start us off?
How many times are you going to kick me in the balls?
Frank.
It's easy for me. Again, I haven't seen much of Clone Wars, so I would definitely go with Spectacular Spider-Man.
Okay.
Again, I think the fact that it's, even though it is a reshuffle of stuff that we've seen before, there's such little, amazing things in it that they do well. No pun intended. I'd go with that one.
Zach, what's your decision?
I have to go with, at this point, Spectacular Spider-Man, and it really comes down to this question, like, which one do I want to see more of again, if given the opportunity? And I would pick Spider-Man. I mean, it just left off in such an awesome place where I couldn't wait to see what was going to happen again, and it's heartbreaking that it only went 26 episodes. And Star Wars is a fantastic show, and I love it, but it was one that what am I trying to say? It felt like we shouldn't have gotten it in the first place anyway, in a weird way.
Yeah. Clifton?
This is a tough call. I just watched Clone Wars again recently and loved the action, loved the animation, but I love the characters and what Weissman did with the storytelling in Spectacular Spider-Man. Jesus, designs are fun. I got to go with Spectacular Spider-Man.
And I do as well. Love Clone Wars, but Spectacular Spider-Man. It's even more heartbreaking that we'll never get that version of the story ever again, and
Yes.
it left too soon. So, Spectacular Spider-Man advances 4-0. Next up, we have Justice League Unlimited versus Challenge of the Super Friends.
Ooh.
A competition of the old versus the new. Which do you think did it better? Trying to think who we're going to call upon this that's going to make this gut wrenching decision first. Frank.
Yeah, like that was tough. Yeah, sure.
Just turning the knife.
Yes,
Oh, indeed.
exactly.
Making a full
I love Challenge of Super Friends. It's iconic to me. There's so many good things that are introduced in it. But I think Justice League Unlimited just takes the idea and runs with it. Not to mention the fact that it pairs off a bunch of stuff from all the other animated Bruce Timm shows. So I would have to go with Justice League Unlimited.
Zach?
This is not hard for me at all. This is Justice League Unlimited. Easily. I mean, it's just, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's more sophisticated storytelling, and I got to go with that. Yeah, Justice League.
Clifton.
Justice League Unlimited because it's basically just like the updated version of what we all dreamed Super Friends was.
Yeah,
true.
Like it's better storytelling, but then it's like so many more characters thrown in too, and like that's what we all loved about Super Friends, was seeing all the characters, especially like the Legion of Doom seasons. And Justice League Unlimited was that and more.
Okay. So it's 3-0 Challenge to Friends. Last choice is my own. Unfortunately, thinking about the two, I mean, now that we have a chance, it's not a speed round. I'll have to say Challenge of the Super Friends. Not because I think it's a better told story. There are various nods to the predecessor that shows how great Super Friends was. We had Lex Luthor, who looked like that version from Challenge of the Super Friends in it in a couple of episodes. They had both were in headquarters, mimicked by Challenge of the Super Friends.
Sure.
Which is insane. But yet, however, Justice League Unlimited advances forward over Challenge of the Super Friends 3-1. Next up, we have Venture Brothers or Voltron, the Legendary Defender. Zach, you start our voting process.
I'm first. Oh,
Yes,
man.
indeed.
The show that keeps getting better and we think is still happening versus the show that kept getting better all along. Man, every season of Voltron, I think, got better and better too. And I almost put Voltron over this for this reason, but hitting me, Venture Brothers does the same thing too. And I like the two shows reinvented themselves for each season so well too. Oh man. And they both surprised me too. Wasn't expecting it. I'm surprising myself in this. I'm going to say Venture Brothers just because it is, even though it's based on sort of initially Johnny Quest ideas and stuff like that and everything. I'm going to go with that one because it's a more original idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm going to go with Venture Brothers. Yeah.
All right, Clifton, what's your vote?
Now, both of these were on my list.
Yes.
Love both of them for different reasons, obviously. But like Venture Brothers always surprises me. Like just even when they start with ideas we all know from comics and the shows we watch and everything, they'll somehow take it to an original place or put an original bent on it every time. That's like both humorous and still like has heart and like really gets into it, and I love it. So it's Venture Brothers.
Frank?
Oh, this is easy for me. I like Voltron, but I love Venture Brothers, so I'm gonna go with the Venture Brothers.
I have to go with Venture Brothers too. Clean sweep for Venture Brothers.
Oh, okay.
I think Venture Brothers.
Sorry, no, I forgot what I voted for. It was so close for me.
Oh, no.
This one might have been the tightest one of any of the votes that I'm thinking of. I'm not exaggerating.
To me, Venture Brothers is more along. It's like what, satirical, but it's like if you threw every conceivable comic book character in one fold, how would they mix up, so to speak? That's what I get from Venture Brothers. I mean, it even throws in cartoon characters To even it out, we have versions of Scooby Doo.
Hmm.
Weird amalgamation of a world that you will never see anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean it's satirical, but like they absolutely love everything that they're sending up.
Yes.
So like they
Yes.
keep the heart intact and aren't just like making fun of it.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't become a joke, but the way they flesh out those characters into actual people, the more they do that with every new season, is to me incredible. Like I didn't think I'd be still watching this show this long, given how long the hiatuses are or the time frames are between each season.
Or that it would only be on season 8 since 2003.
Wow.
Yes. So Venture Brothers advances forward. Next up, guys, we have Gargoyles or Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. Mystery Inc. I'm gonna go with our lover of all things Scooby-Doo to see what he would like to propose. Clifton,
Oh, this one hurts.
what's your vote?
Because I might have to go against Scooby-Doo. It's the Mystery Incorporated is like my favorite telling of Scooby-Doo. But like Gargoyles is just like so many new great ideas all the time. So I'm gonna have to betray Scooby-Doo and go with Gargoyles.
One for Gargoyles. Frank, what's your decision?
Same thing with this. I like Mystery Inc. What I've seen of it, I haven't seen all of it, but for me, I mean, Gargoyles is a classic. Always will be a classic. Got to go with Gargoyles.
For me, I'm choosing Gargoyles. I love Scooby-Doo, but I like to see if they carried it past that point to see how far they would go with that iteration as opposed to one season. So I'm gonna go with Gargoyles. Zach, what's your choice?
Okay, I lied. This is the toughest decision that I made. Not Venture Brothers and Voltron. This one is really hard. I'm going to surprise you guys on this one. And I'm not just saying this because basically the other show can go in safely. I'm saying Scooby-Doo. And the reason I'm saying Scooby-Doo is I think it's a tighter story. It has a beginning, middle, and end and everything. I know it's one of the reasons we like Gargoyles is that you can still go on and do so much with it. And he had any number of spin-offs planned out for this thing, and I want to see all of them still. But yeah, Scooby-Doo, like blew me away.
So thank you for that. So advancing to the next round is going to be Gargoyles.
Woohoo.
Poor Scooby-Doo.
Last on our Sweet 16 is going to be Avatar: The Last Airbender versus King of the Hill.
This is juicy.
So I'm going to start it off since I haven't started off in a while. Both were on my list. Wow, this is a hard one because they're totally two completely different cartoons. And I have memorable cartoon moments from both of them in which I love the episode. King of the Hill, I cringe at certain episodes, like the Christmas episode. That to this day is just hard to watch.
Yes.
Avatar. I love King of the Hill, but Avatar, top to bottom. I still discuss Avatar to this day. Now, I love King of the Hill. I watched that on Adult Swim for God knows how long when they were showing it. Jeez, or is it late night Cartoon Network? But Clifton, what's your decision?
I'm definitely going with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like I said before, I love those worlds they created, and like they just feel so fleshed out, like classic fantasy. And the characters are great. It was always fun, like following along in their adventures, seeing the character turns, like who became good, who causing trouble this time. It's got to be Airbender.
Zach?
Yeah. And I'm going to be petty on this one too, because for me, you want to talk about a show that shouldn't have gone on this far. It's King of the Hill. This is Avatar: The Last Airbender. No contest. I recommended this show last week to somebody at work. Yeah, I'm still talking about how great this show is.
Frank?
I mean, it's a tough one. I love both these shows. We all know that King of the Hill is no Doug. So I'm I would have to go with, even saying that, I would still have to go with Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think it's amazingly, as Clifton said, it's amazingly fleshed out. It's the characters are great, voice work is great, and one thing I always loved about it was the kids were kids. A lot of these shows want to make the kids not be. They want to be like young adults or adults trying to. And these were always kids to me that had to make really, really hard decisions. You know, I remember when Tommy, when you first introduced it to me, it was a lot of, this is a kid show.
Yes.
So
yes.
so for me, it's easy. I would go with Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay. And that concludes our round 3.
So that was
Hold
the
on,
Sweet
gentlemen.
16.
Yep.
That was the Sweet 16. We have concluded round 3, Sweet 16. We're now moving on to round 4, the Elite 8.